Okay, let us start our discussion of solid mechanics lab today. Let us do the fatigue testing machine, fatigue testing phenomenon of a material like material made of steel, my steel. Before going to the experimental details, let us discuss about what is the theory behind the fatigue, term fatigue. It is defined, that is an important phenomenon during that for the definition of fatigue is Boestinger's effect. It is more or less possibly the basics of the fatigue of for the phenomenon of fatigue of the material itself. It refers to a property of material where material stress and strain characteristics change as a result of microscopic stress distribution of the material. How the stress is distributed throughout its period of action is an important effect. Say an increase in tensile yield strength occurs at the expense of reduction in compressive yield strength. Means if you subject the metal, subject your concerned workpiece or beam member to tension with say up to the yield, up to the phenomenon of yield, means you are forcing it to be elastic, forcing your workpiece from plastic to elastic condition. Well, we'll see that if this elastic strength for a ductile material is same for both tension and compression, but we'll find that if we apply this elastic strength in tension and up to the yield strength, you will find that it is became less effective than the compressive yield strength. So this effect is a strange and important effect, which is being shown by, first discussed by a German engineer known as Johann Boesingers. While most tensile cold working, the tensile yield strength, in the strength where the yield takes place of the material, means where the tensile concerned beam member starts changing its shape in a comparatively higher mode and retains its shape and not go back to the original shape after the external load is removed. Here, for any type of formation of the material itself, you have to load it up to its yield strength because it should remain that deformation remains in the materials and stays with the material itself. Now, the local initial compressive strength under tensile cold working is actually, we have this found it is reduced. And the greater tensile cold working, lower will be the compressive yield strength. What we always define that it is for a ductile materials, yield strength or ultimate strength is more or less same. But this Boestinger's effect proves that if higher the tensile strength, lower will be the higher the tensile yield strength, lower will be the tensile compressive yield strength. It is associated with conditions where yield strength of a material decreases when the direction of strain is changed, which means once you have strain in a particular, you have deformed the material in a particular direction, and now after a certain period of time, maybe few seconds or an infinitesimal second, you are changing its direction of deformation. This phenomenon actually reduces the strength of the material itself, which means it reduces the yield strength of the material. This is a general phenomenon found in most polycrystalline metals. Polycrystalline, which is mostly all are ductile materials of crystalline structure, made of crystals, and a huge number of crystals are available of different structure, more or less same, maybe different, but adhesive together. The basic mechanism for the Boestinger's effect is related to the dislocation of the structure in the cold work material. If you do the cold working and load your concerned workpiece or beam up to the yield strength, its crystalline structure starts dislocation and does fail. As deformation occurs, this dislocation will accumulate at barriers, produce discoloration, pile up, and tangles. Based on the local cold work surface, two types of mechanisms are used to explain the viscosity effect. What is the process? Local backstress may be present. If less than, it would be, if it is less than, it would be the strain had continued in the initial sex direction itself. And composite mechanism. Local backstress can be present. If less than, it would be the strain. If the strain has continued in the initial direction, then there is maybe a stresses in opposite direction which will tend the item back, go back to the original shape. It will be always, it may be present inside, although it is strained in a different direction. And the mechanism is composite. What is the mechanism of action? The separate unidirectional cold working results in accumulation of dislocation of barriers to dislocation movement. Several unidirectional is an accumulation of dislocation at barriers to dislocation movement, finally forming stable dislocation set. So if we make it unidirectional cold working severe, there is a dislocation, means it is the sides may crack or the dislocation of the crystals with which it is formed, it is dislocated, primarily forming stable dislocation cells. If the removal of the cell does not affect the dislocated cells as they have a stable structure, if you remove the state, that horizontal material is already dislocated, it is remained dislocated, it does not change. So you are not going back to the original position when stress is removed. At the same time, when stress is applied exactly in the opposite direction or reverse direction, dislocation now aided by the back stresses and that were present at these dislocation barriers previously. And also because the back stresses and dislocation barriers in the back are not likely to be as strong compared to the previous one. Here, we are reversing it again. This dislocation phenomenon of the end, it starts improving. So, institution glide easily resulting in pure strength for plastic deformation, reversing direction of the loading. So that type of dislocation results in a composite probability of failure of the material when they are yielded to, it is when it is loaded up to the yield strength itself. What is the consequence? The metal forming operation results in situation exposing to metal aspects of two stresses of reverse design. Reverse design, the metal workpiece may be supposed to face the stresses in reverse direction itself. The position reverse direction means if we apply the force exactly in the opposite direction of the previous one, then situation we expose is that metal forming operation is exposed and subject to departure. The Pausachev's effect contributes to work softening of the workpiece. The works is getting more or less soft. For example, straightening of drawn bar or rolled sheet where rollers subject to workpiece to alternate bending stresses, thereby reducing the strength and greater ability to cold dryability of the workpiece itself. So everywhere, if you opposite the direction time and again, it will reduce the strength always. This is the basis of so many words. Two types of fatigue failure may be considered. One test focused on the normal stress applied to cause the fatigue failure in number of cycles. The stress result data results in the plot of stress against the number of cycles of failure, which is known as SN curve. Means it may so happen a particular material or particular beam member is subjected to stress in one direction, but it does not, that force is staying there, it is released and again then same force is applied in the same direction and this process is repeating and repeating until the material fails. Here the force is not applied in opposite direction, but in the same direction, but in huge number of time. After application, it is reduced to zero, again it is applied and reduced to zero like this. So this metal in this type of repetition of stresses, where the metal can also fail. Actually, the stresses are result in a plot of stress against the number of cycle of failure. Means there should be a stress in the y-axis, and n should be the number of cycles required for the failure of the material itself. In high cycle fatigue situation, material performance is comparatively characterized by SNSR, also known as a polar curve. This curve is of the magnitude of a cycle stress against the logarithmic scale of cycle to failure n. So this curve is a magnitude of a cycle stress S against the logarithmic scale of cycles. Means scale of cycle, you have to take the lag and you have to let it to the stress which is up to which it is subjected to. The two general types of fatigue test conducted. One test focuses on the nominal stress required to cause a fatigue failure to some number of cycles. The result in the data presents as a plot of stress against the number of cycle length. This data is opening by the cyclic, smooth or notched specimen like until failure. Maybe smooth, this data will have obtained maybe by using the smooth surface of your test piece or creating results is testing its ability to withstand or a notched surface of the material itself, which enables the material weaken to a certain extent and see how much reputational load it can absorb. First of all, procedure is first specimen is to test the specimen at a very high peak stress where failure is expected in a fairly short number of cycles. So initial peak test stress is extremely high. So in a measured results of failing after sharing a number of repetition, only a small number of repetition. Its total stress is described for each succeeding specimen until one or two specimens do not fail the required number of cycles, which is usually at 10 to the power same cycle. And the higher stress in which the run-out non-failure occurs is taken as the fatigue threshold, and not all metals have a fatigue threshold, and those materials, this test is usually terminated only after 10 to the power 5 or 10 to the power 8 cycles. So first, we have to make one or two specimen which does not fail in the specified number of cycles, which generally 10 to the power 7 number of cycles. The highest stress at which a run out means how much stress or how is the highest stress to which a stress the run out or non-failure occurs is taken as the fatigue threshold.